Chapter 5 Karam Sannyas Yoga. Arjun said, O Shri Krishna, you praised Karam Sannyas, that is the path of renunciation of actions, and you also advised to do Karam Yoga, work with devotion. Please tell me decisively, which of the two is more beneficial? The Supreme Lord said, both the path of Karam Sannyas, renunciation of actions, and Karam Yoga, working in devotion, lead to the supreme goal. But Karam Yoga is superior to Karam Sannyas. The Karam Yogis, who neither desire nor hate anything, should be considered always renounced. Free from all dualities, they are easily liberated from the bonds of material energy. Only the ignorant speak of Sankhya, that is renunciation of actions, or Karam Sannyas, and Karam Yoga, work and devotion, as different. Those who are truly learned say that by applying ourselves to any of these paths, we can achieve the results of both. The supreme state that is attained by means of Karam Sannyas is also attained by working in devotion. Hence those who see Karam Sannyas and Karam Yoga to be identical truly see things as they are. Perfect renunciation, that is Karam Sannyas, is difficult to attain without performing work in devotion, that is Karam Yoga. O mighty armed Arjun, but the sage who is adept in Karam Yoga quickly attains the supreme. The Karam Yogis, who are of purified intellect and who control the mind and senses, see the soul of all souls in every living being. Though performing all kinds of actions, they are never entangled. Those steadfast in this Karam Yoga always think, I am not the doer, even while engaged in seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, moving, sleeping, breathing, speaking, excreting, and grasping, and opening or closing the eyes. With the light of divine knowledge, they see that it is only the material success that are moving amongst their objects. Those who dedicate their actions to God, abandoning all attachment, remain untouched by sin, just as a lotus leaf is untouched by water. The yogis, while giving up attachment, perform actions with their body, senses, mind, and intellect only for the purpose of self-purification. Offering the results of all activities to God, the Karam Yogis attain everlasting peace, whereas those who, being impelled by their desires, work with a selfish motive, being entangled because they are attached to the fruits of their actions. The embodied beings who are self-controlled and detached reside happily in the city of 9 gates, free from thinking they are the doers or the cause of anything. Neither the sense of doership nor the nature of actions come from God, nor does He create the fruits of action. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature, that is gunas. The omnipresent God does not involve Himself in the sinful or virtuous deeds of anyone. The living entities are deluded because their inner knowledge is covered by ignorance. But for those in whom the ignorance of the self is destroyed by divine knowledge, that knowledge reveals the supreme entity, just as the sun illumines everything in daytime. Those whose intellect is fixed in God, who are wholly absorbed in God, with firm faith in Him as the supreme goal, such persons quickly reach the state from which there is no return, their sins having been dispelled by the light of knowledge. The truly learned with the eyes of divine knowledge see with equal vision a Brahmin, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater. Those whose minds are established in equality of vision conquer the cycle of birth and death in this very life. They possess the flawless qualities of God and are therefore seated in the absolute truth. Established in God, having a firm understanding of divine knowledge, and not hampered by delusion, they neither rejoice in getting something pleasant nor grieve on experiencing the unpleasant. Those who are not attached to external sense pleasures realize divine bliss in the self. Being united with God through yoga, they experience unending happiness. The pleasures that arise from contact with the sense objects, though appearing as enjoyable to worldly minded people, are verily a source of misery. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise do not delight in them. Those persons are yogis who, before giving up the body, are able to check the forces of desire and anger, and they alone are happy. Those who are happy within themselves, enjoying the delight of God within, and are illumined by the inner light, such yogis are united with the Lord and are liberated from material existence. Those holy persons whose sins have been purged, whose doubts are annihilated, whose minds are disciplined, and who are devoted to the welfare of all beings, attain God and are liberated from material existence. For those sannyasis who have broken out of anger and lust through constant effort, who have subdued their mind and are self-realized, liberation from material existence is both here and hereafter. Shutting out all thoughts of external enjoyment, with the gaze fixed on the space between the eyebrows, equalizing the flow of the incoming and outgoing breath in the nostrils, and thus controlling the senses, mind, and intellect, the sage who becomes free from desire and fear always lives in freedom. Having realized me as the enjoyer of all sacrifices and austerities, the Supreme Lord of all the worlds and the selfless friend of all living beings, my devotee attains peace.